When I say, who's the master? You say, no.
Did we just see the official first hookup of Darling and the Franxx? What is up, guys? Shut Off the King here, back with another video. Darling and the Franxx, episode 17 review. This show, Studio Trigger. God, you guys are so good. Like, I want to know, when is the last time we've been given an anime with this much emotional weight to it? Where the stakes felt real, the emotional payoff was there. We didn't get teased around with just fake relationships that never actually develop into anything. Like, this show has done such a great job over 17 episodes to make you feel for these characters, to make you want to come back every week to see what happens next. When and if they decide to kill one of these characters or two of these characters, it's going to really suck. Like, I'm preparing myself for that, because when it happens, it's going to really suck, because this show has done an amazing job keeping me entertained and keeping me wanting these characters to get together and to stick around. But enough of that. There's so much to cover, and I'm not trying to make this a super long video. I'm going to try to keep it under 15 minutes, but so let's jump into the review. Got my notes. So, as far as the world building goes, Zero Two's code name before Hero gave it to her was Iota. And Iota, for those who don't know, is the ninth letter in the Greek language, and it loosely translates to less than or nothing. So the code name that Papa gave 02 was essentially that she was low or nothing. Like, let's just say I'm glad that she was 02 that Hero gave her. So in general, like, what I'm starting to extrapolate from the information that we got from this actual episode is that Ape, Papa, they're not the good guys here. It seems to me like, from the revelations that we got from this episode, that Ape, Papa, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get... It's funny how they're saying they're trying to save humanity, but in actuality, it looks like they're trying to actually subjugate and just remove humanity out of actual people. So I find it very weird that Papa and Ape, you know, they all look very technologically advanced. They don't really look human. So it's funny that they're considering themselves the humans, whereas you look at the Calaxosaurs, albeit that they're more alien looking, they are appearing to be more human than actual Ape is. So especially with Dr. Franxx, you know, again, looking like he's half human, half robot. So it's starting to... A clearer picture is starting to form, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But the big arc of this story is that Squad 9 shows up at Squad 13's barracks to visit, and a lot of shenanigans come out of it. You know, it looks like Squad 9 is actually spies for Papa, and Papa sent them down so that Squad 9 could see exactly what's been going on with them. Because again, I don't think Dr. Franxx told Papa and Ape that he was doing this study on the kids of 13. Now, again, there were a lot of revelations that came out this episode. With the main focus was actually at first, when I watched the actual preview, it looked like 02 was preparing to marry Hero. You know, she had on like almost like a veil on her head, and it appeared like, I thought that maybe this was the girls helping them out. I'm glad that didn't happen, because again, the first question that would have came to my head is, how does 02 even know what a wedding is? I understand, you know, Prince and, you know, Princess from her book, but I don't think they got married in the book. So it would have been a little weird if she tried to perform some sort of marriage ceremony when none of them should know what it is without reading a book. Now, the true star of this episode is, again, Kokoro. Like, I find it so funny that so many people were hating on Kokoro episodes ago because of the partner switch episode, and now she definitely is close to the title of best girl next to 02. So I'm just putting that out there. Like, thoroughly enjoy her directness and her ability to just go for what she wants, because her and Mitsuru, like, she was not playing, boy. She was in that greenhouse in there doing his hair again, and she was just like, look here, boy, your body is so da-da-da-da-da, and just like rubbing all over me. I was like, wait a minute, what's the rating of this show? I was like, oh, what's she like right there? So that was very enjoyable, but at the same time, I really enjoyed her directness, because again, if you've watched anime as long as I have, I'm so used to women being more direct in the anime, but then the guys being a bunch of pussies. I mean, that's just the word I'm going to use, because they're always usually afraid, or the blood starts shooting out of their nose, like Sanji from One Piece. But it felt like Mitsuru's reaction to Kokoro was actually very warranted, because again, he didn't understand what she was doing. She understood full well because of that book she's been reading, but he didn't fully grasp what she was trying to do. So that's kind of why he like popped up and like slapped her hand away, like, "Yo, what you doing?" So I am glad that she didn't do her obligatory, "I'm so embarrassed," and just run off. She kind of explained to him what she wanted to do. Like, I want to make a baby. This is not something that just popped up. I've been thinking about it for a very long time. And I appreciated them allowing her to explain herself versus just doing that whole run off. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just going to get really embarrassed and just go scoot off to the side. So that was one huge part of it. Now, also, I'd like to just touch base on the fact that a lot of my theories from episode 16 are proven to be correct. So, round of applause for me. So, it looks like I was right about the reason why Papa left them alone. So, essentially what he wanted to do is to see if the squad could survive on their own. Could they bring back humanity? Because remember, if you go back and look at my review for episode 16, I clearly stated that I thought that Papa wanted to see if they could develop their relationships more between the squad. Could they start procreating and bringing back humanity? And then we come to find out in this episode, partial reason why humanity is actually extinct is because of Ape and Papa, because they pretty much forbid sex and procreation to even happen. It's like a dirty word. Like, if you even talk about it, it's just like a big time punishment. And on top of that, they're also the only people who actually have reproductive organs are the actual children, and that's only because you need reproductive organs to pilot the Franxx. Why is that? I'll get to that towards the end of the video, because another prediction that I made in the last week's episode, I'm pretty much sure it's going to happen in this season as well. So we'll get to that. So stay with me. So it is, and you can clearly hear from Squad 9 that they're not as advanced as Squad 13 is, because Squad 9 is fully a part of the Ape/Papa agenda. And they're just fully into it hardcore, and they're just like, look, these are the rules. The rules are this. You guys are disgusting. Like, so apparently Squad 9 does not have true emotions. They do have reproductive organs, because one of them also brings up the fact that, do you want us to go back to one gender system? I thought that was really weird. And again, I hope they explain a little bit more detail on that. Like, I have a couple of theories on that, but I'm not going to really flesh those out yet because I need more information. That's what I was talking about last week when I said Darling and Franxx does a really good job of giving us answers, but then giving us more questions. So last week we got a lot of questions, and then this episode we got a lot of answers, but we got a lot more questions. So the ebb and flow that they're giving us is just spot on. Like, wow. So we also find out that eventually Nana shows up with Hachi, and they kind of break up the whole fray because things are starting to get tense. Kokoro is really upset because, again, she is confronted by the group about the book that she found when they were on that expedition, and she found it in the wreckage like 5 or 6 episodes ago. And she basically came out to the team and was like, look, guys, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about this book, but she just breaks it down. She's like, look, I want to have a legacy. I want to leave behind a lasting impression. I want to get back. Like, she basically drops the huge bomb to them that, hey, Papa didn't create us. You know, we were born. Like, we have parents. You know, that's how you actually bring on life. You have a baby. So that is just a huge shock to everybody. You know, we find out, like I said, Nana and Hachi, they used to actually be Franxx pilots as well. But what they do is, apparently, once you get of an age, you basically get re-brainwashed and your biological organs removed, so you can't even have babies anymore. That's how badly they don't want the world to reproduce, and that's essentially how the world didn't reproduce, and we actually went, the people went extinct, because again, if Papa forbid people to procreate, eventually people are going to stop being born. So did they start raising these children as clones with DNA, or is there a situation where there's just certain people who just make babies? Like, we still need to figure out how Squad 13 was born, because were they born from human parents, or were they just grown in the lab like all these other parasites? So it's very interesting to see how that's going to go as well. And then again, we find out from Nana that she's been having flashbacks whenever she gets really angry. So she has these flashbacks, and then it shoots through her head, and come to find out she's basically having flashbacks to her life as a pilot, which is a bad thing, because again, the leader of Squad 9, he comes out and he's like, yo, I hope you're not having, you know, your puberty spikes or something to that effect. So it's a big deal. So if that's the case, basically Nana, we probably won't see her again, because even Hachi didn't even cover for her. He was just like, look, and you know, Dr. Franxx comes out and he's like, is Nana useless? And you know, he pretty much says, you know, this test needs to stop. So it's very, very weird. Now, the last two big things that happen in this episode, first we actually get this meeting with the Klaxosaur Princess, and this is where, again, another one of my theories ended up being correct. So the Klaxosaur Princess is surrounded by not one, but two giant serpents that are Klaxosaur serpents, and Klaxosaur Princess is strong as hell. She is strong as hell. All she did was pretty much yawn, and she sent out this shockwave that went right to the brainstem of two of the ape members that basically damaged them badly, and she ended up killing them like it's nothing. So it essentially started the war. And again, I'm pretty sure Ape, that's exactly what Ape wanted, because when you come down there to ask for someone to surrender, you don't go down there as confident as you do, not knowing how strong this chick is. Because I'm like, the second they came down there and saw those Klaxosaur serpents, I'd have been like, maybe we need to come back with more people. So again, I thought that was weird. So again, in the end, again, this is a fantastic episode. What I'm starting to think is a few things. I honestly think that Ape is either an artificial intelligence that came to life and wanted to get rid of humanity or make humanity perfect, and their idea of perfect is more mechanical, more machiners, and versus being more organic or biological. And I think exactly what's going on is that they're thinking about official ways to take away people's humanity. And it's kind of funny how they're saying they're trying to rescue humanity, when in actuality they're just making humanity worse. I honestly think Dr. Franxx probably was human at first, but then was, after being brainwashed and turned to part robotic, maybe some of his memories came back, and now he's trying to make things right with Squad 13. That's definitely a theory. One of the huge things that Ape said towards the end of the episode was that we're going to destroy you with your own creation, and that's kind of how I need to go back to the first point. One of my biggest theories that I had from the last episode was that Klaxosaur, that gigantic Franxx that you see in the background on the opening, is the heron horn that the ape is creating. So I think what they're doing is they're creating a giant Franxx to battle the Klaxosaur Princess, and I promise you that they're making that Franxx so that it does not need pilots to operate. I think it's going to be fully automated, robotic, that it does not need to be controlled by pilots. Or if it does need to be controlled by pilots, it's going to be piloted by entire Squad 9. I think if that giant Franxx comes to fruition, it'll either be piloted on its own, or it will be piloted by the entire team of Squad 9. That's my prediction. Now, in relation to them saying by your own creation, I honestly think the Calaxosaurs are the ones that created Franxx in general. Or they gave the original idea for Franxx, and then now that Papa and Ape is the one that stole that idea and then used it for themselves. Because, again, it doesn't make sense that if Ape and Papa are against humanity in general and against reproduction, why would they even care? When knowing that the Franxx system itself relies on biological makeups, why would you even care? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you want your pilots to have biological functions when you hate that? And again, it just goes to teach me, if they created the Franxx, then it wouldn't have any need for that. So that's another reason why I think the Franxx that they're creating in the background is probably going to be non-pilot. It's going to be fully automated by just like robotics or whatever. Now the last thing, and then I'm gonna end this video. I'm around 15 minutes, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up. So Kokoro and Mitsuru actually consummate their relationship, and I did not see that coming at all. Like, I thought they would kiss, kind of like Zero Two and Hero have been doing, but I did not think that they were going to go all the way. And from the last scene, it looks like they did. I mean, for 1 minute they're standing there kissing fully clothed, and then the next thing you know, they're holding each other in bed, no clothes on. So, damn. I feel so bad for homeboy getting friend zoned like that. So it happens. It happens. So like I said, let me know what you guys think. Oh, and before I go, let me just say this. Like, over the course of the last 3 weeks of me starting to review Darling and the Franxx, my subscribers have jumped tenfold, and on top of that, like, I've gotten between our last 2 Darling and the Franxx videos well over 2,000 views. I've gained a lot of subscribers, and you guys are starting to communicate more with this actual videos, and I really do appreciate it. I want to shout out to anybody that's recently subscribed to my channel. You guys are making me happy. You're making this channel grow, and I really, really, really appreciate it. It gives me the power to want to create more, and want to do more, and I do it for you guys, and I do it for myself as well, because again, I love talking about this stuff. But I really do appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel and smashing that like button whenever you get an opportunity. I hope you continue to do that with this video, so that my Darling and Franxx videos can spread more over YouTube, and also on the Twitter as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Showing Off the King. So again, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this review. See you next week.